All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the 7th annual I-5 Widening Community Open House. We're going to go ahead and get started. So first, I'm going to turn it over to Mike Como with Caltrans. Mike?
Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for this annual I-5 HOV Widening Project Community Open House. My name is Michael Como. I work for Caltrans. I'm a public information officer, which means I present information about Caltrans and the work that we do. But first, to explain how today's meeting will operate, it's my pleasure to introduce Josh Francis, who will provide us with the details. Josh?
Thank you, Mike. So first, we want to let everybody know that this meeting is being recorded and we will have this available after the meeting. All participants that join are going to be muted for the duration of the meeting. And also the live video or the webcam feature has been disabled for attendees. We want to go over a couple of things that you are able to access. First, we'll go over the audio controls. So we already had one question. Someone did have some trouble accessing the audio. So if you are able to listen on your computer, you can see on the slide here that all you need to do is select computer audio, and you should be able to hear that through your computer speakers or headphones. If you are having trouble with hearing this through your computer, you can also access the audio by using your phone, and the dial-in number is also on this slide on the right side where the purple arrow is pointing to. Once you dial that number, you're going to need to enter the access code when prompted, and as well as the audio pin number when you are prompted. Additionally, in addition to the audio controls, there are also some handouts that you will see in that same webinar toolbar, and it's going to be on the right side underneath the audio controls. There are a few items that you will be able to download simply by clicking those, and they should open up either in a web browser or they should download directly to your computer. If you have any questions during the presentation or after, please use the question box. We have staff monitoring this question box, and it is visible to all of our panelists, so we will see that. You may also put if you have any technical issues or you're having trouble hearing or you can't see the slideshow, please let us know on that question box as well. So again, thank you for joining us. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mike.
Thank you, Josh, for that good explanation. Again, we've held these annual I-5 Community Open House gatherings as in-person gatherings. This is the 7th annual. This year, because of COVID-19 guidelines, it's being held as a strictly online virtual event. We are glad that you are here today. The project leadership team is looking forward to presenting to you a recap of the progress of the project, a look ahead at what will be coming up soon, and to answer any questions that you may have about the project, the traffic, and how you may be personally affected by the project. First, just a quick recap. The project has reached significant milestones, including at I-5 Buena Vista Street, the construction of the elevated railroad, which eliminated a street level rail crossing, a significant safety enhancement for cars, trains, pedestrians, and cyclists, as well as significant reconstruction and improvements of I-5 ramps at Buena Vista Street. Also significant street improvements at San Fernando Boulevard, Victory Place, and Lincoln Street. And completion of the totally new Empire Avenue interchange, including elevated railroad, so there's no street level rail crossing. And now the work is shifting, the focus is shifting to Burbank Boulevard, where the new bridge is being constructed, new ramps with new alignments. Just a very, very quick pause here to show you a very brief video, a 2-minute recap of the construction and completion of the Empire Avenue interchange, which opened to traffic less than a year ago, and also a 1-minute quick recap of the recent successful demolition of the old Burbank Boulevard Bridge, which was completed on April 25th and 26th with a full freeway closure. And the freeway opened to traffic again early on the morning of April 27th. So now this very quick 3 minutes of video, and then I'll be right back with you. That was fun. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you John Yang of Caltrans District 7. John is the Assistant District Division Chief in the Division of Construction. John?
Hey, thank you. Good evening. My name is John Yang. I'm the Assistant District Division Chief in Division of Construction here in Caltrans District 7. Welcome to the 7th Annual Community Outreach Meeting for Interstate 5 Carpool Lane Project. We're delighted to see all of you and actually hear everybody online. Unfortunately, we cannot see everyone, but then I'm sure later on you can ask all the questions you like and we can have an interactive conversation. City of Burbank residents remain to be the most active, engaging, and concerned group of citizens in Southern California. We're here to provide update for our project, share information, and answer any questions you may have. Next slide, please. Our project consists of two major interchange construction and reconstruction. The brand new Empire Avenue interchange was opened on September 30th, 2019. Currently, we're working on the new interchange for Burbank Boulevard. What you see here is how the new interchange will look like. The two loop ramps on the northern end will be removed. And instead, we will have a new diamond shape of interchange. This will make the interchange work much better. Next slide, please. As you just saw on the video, we were able to take advantage of the low traffic volume during the governor's safe at home order, and we closed the bridge on March 28th. We also were able to demolish the bridge over the last weekend of April with minimal disruption to the regional traffic. For that, we'd like to thank all the residents and the team for accomplishing that. During the closure, next slide, please. During the closure, there were 9 major freeway crossings throughout the city kept open to keep the traffic flowing. Next slide. Next, yeah. The project could not have been completed without the cooperation from our funding partner, Metro, and also City of Burbank. They are also a major contributor during the bridge demolition closure. Metro has funded and provided streaming the live video feed during the demolition, and it was proven to be very successful. There were many users throughout the weekend. Next slide, please. What you see here is the what we're constructing on the west side of the freeway. This is the new abutment and retaining wall on the west side of the new freeway. Next slide, please. We were also able to complete the columns along the median. Next slide. And on the freeway north of Burbank Boulevard, we have completed most of the median paving. Right now, the contractor is installing the median barrier. Next slide. They are also grading and preparing to pave the main line along and the ramps along the south side of the freeway. Next slide, please. What's ahead is basically we're currently at stage 5, phase 2 of the project. As you can see on the red shade up there, we are going to construct the new retaining wall along the freeway and also along the new development on south side of the freeway. And on the north side is a retaining wall. What's been built is a medium portion of the concrete wall. That's a bridge abutment and also some portion of the retaining wall. We hope we can complete that within 2 months. Next slide, please. The on-ramp and off-ramp will be filled with dirt and we call it embankment, and then we're gonna do the final paving. Next slide, please. In the meantime, we also start grading on the southbound main line, and we need to finish that so we can move all the traffic on the east side of the freeway, as you can see on the slide here, to next slide, please. As you can see, these traffic will be moved to the other side, which is west side of the freeway, so we can, next slide, please, construct the northbound main line. And also, we need to provide certain traffic lane on northbound main line so that we can provide the support for constructing the bridge deck. Next slide, please. To construct a bridge, we need the formwork, so-called false work, to support the false work. And then we need the bridge beam, also the wood planks to support the before the concrete pour. So eventually we're gonna move the traffic so that from west side of the freeway back to the north side, 4 lane each direction. So we will have enough room right next to our freeway traffic so we can build a new bridge. And for that, we're gonna continue to do that between now and June. Next slide, please. In the meantime, we're gonna connect the new bridge with the pavement on both sides of the city streets. And that should be between starting from February all the way to, on the schedule shows August, but we definitely hope it will be completed earlier than that. In the meantime, we're also gonna construct a new northbound on and off ramp. Next slide, please. Then the last work we're gonna do is construct the new center line barrier after everything settled down, at which time the bridge is definitely open on top, city traffic is flowing. And then after the concrete barrier is built, we're finishing up everything, we will restripe the freeway and open the couple lane. Next slide, please. So this is the upcoming activity list. Like I described, I'm just gonna go down the list. If you can look at this list of southbound I-5 on and off ramp of retaining wall, that's the one I show you on stage 5, phase 2. That's where we're at. And it will be continuously under construction till late 2020. And I hope we can finish around October through November. We're gonna have the southbound pavement also late 2020. The traffic lane shift should occur around November to December. That means that we'll move all the traffic lane to the future southbound. And then after we clear that, we can start constructing the bridge abutment wall on the east side, doing the power driving foundation and abutment wall. And then when we move the traffic back, we're northbound driving on the northbound lane, southbound driving on the southbound lane, then we have room on both sides. That's the time we install the so-called false work, and we can construct a bridge deck. We expect that to go between February all the way to May and June. In the meantime, we're gonna connect them with along northbound with the on and off ramp and the retaining wall. And we call it summer of 2021, but currently it's hard to put a final number when we're gonna open. We'll continuously work with our contractor to seek ways of expediting. The new northbound pavement will be done around same time, around summer. And then I think to complete our work, we call it end of 2021, but we definitely hope it will be much sooner than that. What you see here is currently on contractor schedule, but like I said, we're looking for ways to improve their performance. And also, hopefully there's not gonna be that much more rainy days in the next season to help us accomplish that. Next slide, please. We continue to provide updates each week through our main communication. That's our weekly update. I've been personally getting those, so to make sure that each of you are well informed about our progress. And also, next slide, we have a dedicated website that during the demolition and all that, we provided vital information. Next slide, please. We also have a dedicated Twitter page to update you. And I think when there's important announcement or up-to-date information, sometimes the quickest way for us to do is the Twitter. Next slide, please. So overall, these are the communication channels to this project. You can dial our 855 number. You can also email us, it's being monitored. You can go to our website and you can check our Twitter page. Next slide, please. This is the new cross section for the freeway, and the Burbank Boulevard. I'm sorry. This is the view. We cut the section east and west, and you can see there will be 3 lanes each direction and 2 left-turn pockets. And on the one end of the freeway, there will be sidewalk, and then there will be a bike lane. Next slide, please. Again, this is how it's going to look like, and we do look forward to it. Like I'd always said, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We since 2014 we've been here. We know it's long overdue, and we like to thank everybody's cooperation and patience, and we also thank you for all your comments and suggestions. This concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.
John, thank you very much for that great explanation. We do have some questions, and so the first one is, who is responsible for the landscaping along the Victory Place right-of-way between Burbank Boulevard and Hollywood Way, and when will it be starting?
Victory Place, that's a north. The landscape that you're referring to is probably within the railroad right-of-way. So at this time, our contract does not include any landscape along railroad right-of-way. And I know City of Burbank did mention that to both Metro, Metrolink, and actually to Caltrans. However, the scope of the project did not cover it. We all know this project was done in a very quick manner, and we all know that we've been trying our best to accommodate all changes and inclusions of all the new features. However, at this time, what I can say is it is railroad's property and railroad's right of way. And I know this is in City of Burbank. So if you're concerned, make sure you mention that to your elected, let them know that you're concerned. This property is within City of Burbank and you just don't like what you see. And again, Metrolink is a different entity aside from Metro. If they heard enough, they definitely will come back to you to say that, okay, let's talk about how we improve it and all that. But at this time, I'm sorry to say that we're here too long and it's not part of our project. And we hear you, we agree with you, and we'll continue to work with everybody to see how we can improve the environment we live in.
John, the next question is asking about the video we just viewed. A person is asking, can they have a copy or a link? And the answer is the video will be posted at the project website, my5la.com. It may take a day or two for that to appear there, but it will be on my5la.com. Thank you for your interest. The next question, are you going to present some budget figures at the various sections and the total cost?
The project costs more than $200 million in construction right now. We would not know the final figure, but if you're interested, at the very end, we're transparent. We'll let you know how much it costs everybody. But at this time, it's more than $200 million.
John, the next question is, did the COVID-19 help speed up the schedule?
I think it did help for the bridge demolition. We were able to take advantage of it. According to our original schedule, we were gonna do 6 hours or 4 hours, I should say, per night to demolish a small section of the bridge each night. And that was gonna take the whole month. With one short weekend closure, we were able to accomplish that. And I thank everybody's cooperation. And I stay online late watching the video. I see a lot of comments on the YouTube video, and I know everyone is concerned. And we were able to save that. However, you also know that this is a huge bridge that we're building. And then in the meantime, we're moving the freeway lanes almost, I would say 50 to 100 feet west. So the whole freeway will get brand new pavement and all that through staging. So there's a lot of work going on. So yes, it did help, but COVID, we also know that there's supply chain issues and there's also labor shortage issues because as you heard, some of the labor definitely contracted the virus and then some caused some minor delay. But at this time, we're fortunate it did not hold us up. But again, in the near future, we're watching it very closely. We hope that this low volume will continue. And by the time we finish the bridge, we all get vaccinated and everybody's happily coming to work. And that's what we're hoping for. But at this time, what I can say is it helped us with a one big weekend. But again, we are encountering numerous problems and then we're still dealing with it. So.
Thank you, John. The next question, I'm not sure if you want to answer this now or later in the meeting, but the question is, thanks for all the info regarding this part of the I-5 project. How about the I-5 widening project between the 605 freeway and the 710 freeway?
Very, very good question. We know that Metro, I'm speaking for Metro now. Metro has a plan for 605 to 710. However, I was personally involved with the developing of that. However, the funding kind of pushed it to beyond 2040. So yes, it's in the plans. However, with funding shortage everywhere, as you probably heard, you probably will be pushed. And it's not really a good news, but we also hope there will be other sources of funds coming in, such as stimulus we've been hearing for infrastructure. And it's an exciting time because there's the election. So we hope to see other funding source can jump in and help. But at this time, I think I should say, yes, it's in the plan, but unfortunately, right now, Metro highway funding is experiencing funding shortage, but the commitment was there, and we continue to work with our funding partners to get that done.
Thank you, John. The next question, traveling northbound on I-5, exiting at Empire Avenue, when I turn left, in other words, westbound onto Empire Avenue, it is awkward to discover I've been led into a lane that is now a southbound freeway on-ramp turn lane. I have found it difficult to then maneuver into westbound Empire lanes. Can you please look at and consider restriping the left turn lanes from the northbound Empire exit to clearly direct traffic into the westbound Empire lanes instead of into southbound freeway entrance lanes?
Noted. And it is, I drove it myself, and actually it exists throughout even the South Corridor. I think if you drive it a lot, you can definitely find your lane. But again, we should design a traffic setting for a layman to get in there without the knowledge of this location. So to answer your question, yes, it is a problem. However, this interchange is in a very, very weird skew. So I think the next question I'm going to receive is when people are making right turn going on the northbound on-ramp, and then they often see the westbound traffic from Empire turning onto northbound. It seems like very close to the right turn traffic. That's what I noticed as well. And then I was questioned before regarding that configuration. Again, the area that's available for turning is only this much. And I would definitely write down this comment and make sure that our traffic operations people come out there and look at it. And I think there is already cat track there. And we all know that cat track is there to make sure that people, when they're making turns, they don't hit each other. So whether we have room to provide more identification, I don't know. But we definitely will look at that. Thank you for the comments.
I'm giving John a minute to finish writing his note.
Oh, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. John, the next question is, the old southbound on-ramp at the Burbank Boulevard Bridge, again, this is the old southbound on-ramp at the Burbank Boulevard Bridge, was notorious for creating a bottleneck on the freeway going toward the Verdugo exit. How will you fix this issue? And after you answer that, I have a second part of his question.
Well, I'm a construction engineer, and I think at this time, as I recall, there was an on-ramp coming in still, and we have a wider pavement. And I think the aux lane would carry it through. That's how I remember it. I think my team is probably looking at the a plan right now. If we have the aux lane carry it through Verdugo, there won't be a problem. But I don't think we have enough room. I think the aux lane probably get dropped.
John, excuse me, pardon me, in case some of our attendees don't know, the auxiliary lane is what you're referring to by aux lane? Is that right?
Aux lane is when you drive on the freeway, when you're ready to exit, you see the big 8-inch striping. We call it elephant track. And if you're driving, you see the elephant track on your left. That means you're on the aux lane, auxiliary lane. The normal traffic lane width, the striping width is 6 inches. But when you see those, we call it elephant track. It's like a big elephant kind of stepping over it. It's called elephant track. And that's how we delineate all these, some called drop lane, some called auxiliary lane. And then when it's called aux lane, between it means it connects between an on-ramp and off-ramp. So that's what I meant. I believe the aux lane get dropped. And I think your next question will be then, how do you fix the traffic? But I think we all know this is a tight area in Burbank. I think this question came up before, so I can almost assure you that aux lane get dropped. But again, it is what it is. You see the Magnolia Boulevard column is right there, as I recall. So that was our constraint. But anyways, we will look at it to see whether we can use some non-standard feature to pass through it if we can. But at this time, I think the aux lane will be dropped. And again, during various time of the day, it's not going to make a difference, which means it's peak hours in the morning peak. In the afternoon, you might see a difference. So we will continue to look at that issue. But you all know that this is a Metrolink station area on the west side, and there's really not much room for us unless we take down the Magnolia Bridge and rebuild it, and it's not really the scope of work. So, but again, traffic issues is everywhere, but we will make a note of it and look at it. Go ahead, Mike.
John, his second question is, will the Verdugo on and off ramps still be in existence?
Yes, Verdugo on and off ramp is completed. The way it looks and then how it operates, and it's gonna be here. So I hope that answered your question.
John, the next question is, how about finishing the Empire interchange first before moving forward with the Burbank Bridge work? Can you please put speed bumps and signage on the new I-5 North on-ramp from San Fernando Boulevard to slow and quiet the cars down until the sound wall is built, at least? Speaking of, when is the sound wall on the 5 North on-ramp going to be built?
First of all, there was not even a discussion of sound wall. As you know, this was a city street, and during, I think 2 years ago, city council motion basically instructed the department to seal off the city street to city traffic, and it became a Caltrans on-ramp. So this is not covered by any of our investigation regarding the noise. As you know, there is a noise report for the project. It covered the sound wall on top of the freeway because right near Empire, the freeway is on top. So to answer your question, no, I do not know there's an option for the sound wall. And to have us, and if city remains to decide that this will be a city donated portion of the state highway, we cannot install speed bump. It's an on-ramp. An on-ramp, the legal speed is 55 miles an hour. We cannot install a speed bump. It's a liability issue. So if you have concern, please, again, we are trying to work with the city for all these comments. Let us know how to improve our project, but also remember, we got to cut our contractor loose. So for any type of other improvement that we're gonna suggest, that Caltrans gonna look at, most likely won't make it in this project. So, but we do want your input. Thank you.
John, the next question reads as follows. Thanks for hosting the open house. The Empire Avenue interchange is a joy to drive through. The pedestrian overpass near IKEA has been in a state of approximately 99% completion for some months. Do we have an estimate for when the opening date is going to be?
For that, I'm gonna turn to my senior resident engineer, Vladimir Gerfinkel. If you're online, I do want to know too, because I know that this has been coming up a few times. So Vladimir, if you're online, do you have an answer for that?
Yes, I'm online. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
you can try to pop your video. You should be able to show your face too.
Right. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty for that, but I wanted to the pedestrian overpass near IKEA. We're talking about very, very close to being completion, right? And this is something that we've been working on, and I think this is at the stage where it'll be completed soon. I can freshen up the exact date and get back to with a date.
Yeah, I think for that, I think our best answer is let's work with the contractor and
Yes.
see when they're gonna open it, and we're gonna post it on the website and then also on the weekly update. And if you really want to know exact date, please send us an email, my5la.dot.ca.gov, and then we will get back to you.
And you can always write to the go to the My5LA website, and there's a contact us button in the upper right-hand corner. That's a great way to get in touch with us also. John, the next question, what is the lifespan of the bridge, considering lifespan is also tied into population growth?
Lifespan is tied into population growth.
I suppose the question may be, how long will it be until the bridge is obsolete given future population growth? But the question may also ask, from a construction material standpoint, also, what is that lifespan of the bridge?
I think most of the bridge, we have a design life more than 50 years, but as you can see everywhere, all the bridge you're traveling on was built in the 50s and 60s. And all our projects have been widening it. So this means if it's not reconstructed, we look at it and then it worked for more than 50 years. And by law, we have to inspect it every 2 years. We're still keeping it. That means it's still in working function. So to answer your question, yes, the design lifespan normally is 50 years, but most of the California bridges are more than 50 years, as you know. So, but then if there's a freeway expansion opportunity, the first option to be looked at is whether we need to replace the bridge. That's always our concern. So rest assured, this bridge is built so sturdy, nice looking, probably one of the best shape I ever seen, diamond. And I can assure you, it's gonna last much longer than me. That's what I can tell you.
Thank you, John. The next question is, speaking of landscaping, when do you plan to complete the work at the on-ramp bordering Rogers Place? We had been promised the safety guards to be permanent and the landscaping. Also, the weeds are wicked and need to be attended to.
I did get receive a notice regarding the weeds today, and I already instructed the resident engineer to clean it. But again, like I said, when we go to contract, we have a dedicated scope, and that scope didn't include this on-ramp, because this on-ramp actually, if you remember, it starts at the very top of the hill. That's where the on-ramp starts. And as I recall, I forgot the last street was, that was still city property. So for us to take over this stretch of the on-ramp that wasn't in the project, it requires some time. And I'm sorry to tell you that, because you need to go through, as you can see, there's so many concerns about whether we have metal beam guardrail, should we have a concrete barrier? And then today I just heard there's a sound concern, noise concern, and then speed bumps. So what I can tell you is this is not the design stage right now. We're at the construction stage. However, what we can do is safely open to the public. Right now, the configuration is called safely open to public. For any future improvement and all that, we're gonna look at it, we're gonna work with the city, and we actually need to seek funding source to see how it's done. So to answer your question, we can keep the weed out until we leave, which is next year sometime. And as for what type of improvement will be installed to replace the current temporary railing that you see out there, I do not know, because we continue to work with the city. And if there is no solution before we leave, then that's how it's gonna look.
Just to help, oh, I'm sorry.
And if we have reach a conclusion and with an acceptable funding source that we can do this, we will do it before we leave. The weed is something that we look at. We will continue to maintain it because it's still a construction zone. And we do appreciate your input. That's all I can tell you right now.
To support what John said, we are in the process of scheduling the weed cleaning, like John said. So we will be getting to it within the next couple of weeks. That's what I can tell you from our conversation with the contractor in the area.
And Vladimir, I hope it's sooner than that. If you cannot get the contractor out there, please call maintenance. That's all.
We'll do.
If it's a couple of weeks, let's call maintenance.
Okay, we'll do. I put it on my list. Thank you, John.
John, the next question is, the rendering of the new bridge and freeway does not depict any lighting. What kind of lighting would be done both on the bridge and the freeway?
The lighting will be the standard at the merge area for the on and off ramp. And I think we do have soffit lighting under the Burbank Boulevard Bridge. Derek, if you're online, do you know what type of lighting we have? Is it LED, or was it even discussed on the below the soffit of Burbank Boulevard? Can you answer?
Yes, all the new lightings on the bridge and underneath the bridge are all LED lightings. And to answer the question earlier, a standard Caltrain bridge are designed for 50 years, and we have demoed some bridge that were built in 1940s, in early 2000. And we find out that the concrete strengths continue to grow as the concrete gets older. Some of the concrete reach 7,000 psi instead of 3,600. So if the bridge is built well and Caltrain continue to maintain it well, the bridge actually gets stronger as the time grows longer. And that's how we plan to treat the Burbank Bridge in the future with our maintenance program.
So unlike human bone and muscle structure that deteriorate over time, you're telling me concrete with the right rebar formation actually growing strengths for concrete strengths and all that.
Yes.
So that's a very good answer. I like to hear that. So basically, that's why you see most of the bridges built in the 50s still going strong everywhere. So, okay, thank you for your great answer, Derek. Do we have more questions?
Yes, John, the next question, does the auto dealer still own the adjacent land? And if they do, what are their plans besides circus events?
From what we know, and this I think it should be answered by City of Burbank. We've been working with a developer, and if you want to hear more information, probably you should talk to the city. There is a development plan, and they've been working with us, and I think it's part residential and part hotel. So, and that's exciting. It's gonna look the whole area gonna look good over there at Front Street. So that's all I know. But if you need more information, if city rep is here, they can chime in. Other than that, that's what I know. Residential and hotel coming.
John, this is Jack. That is correct. That there's a project under construction currently. They're currently demolishing the big concrete pad that was there that Circus Vargas used to set up on, and the circus won't be able to stage at that location anymore.
Thank you. John, the next question is any new construction technology employed for the freeway and the bridge?
Funny that you asked that. When I was watching the video for demolition, I don't know who started saying, when are they gonna install dynamite? And I was like, wow, that's something new. I mean, dynamite in City of Burbank, I'm sure city staff gonna call me right away. But no, we didn't use dynamite. We used the good old method of, you know, if you like those movies, it's basically, it's like toys, and then they just all gather together, jackhammering out for demolition. Building it, it's really nothing fancy. I hope somebody, I think the only thing I can mention is a second pile, but that's not even new technology along Empire. No, it's civil engineering is a very old profession, and basically we were kind of actually amazed with the least amount of people that we need on the project. Actually, the project is going very well because of all these equipment we have. So unfortunately, we're not in SpaceX, so I cannot offer you something really nice. So.
John, the next question is about the dirt stockpile near Burbank Boulevard. The question is, how many wheelbarrows of dirt are in that stockpile?
I can't tell you, probably millions. I can't tell you. To pile that high, I think only can be done by our contractors. I don't know how they did it. I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I'm amazed at their workmanship to pile something that high. And then, but again, I don't know how many wheelbarrow. And I think, Vladimir, maybe if you can calculate it later, you can provide that answer. But
we can do in wheelbarrows, yes, but we got you know, in thousands of cubic yards, we can better probably.
yeah. Probably
Sure.
thousands, not millions. Yeah.
Right.
John, the next question is about the Burbank Bridge facade. The question is, will the Burbank Bridge facade have any art included, such as out in the Westlake Village area where there is art on the new Lindero Canyon Road Bridge over the 101?
I think there is architectural treatment on it. I don't know whether we have rendition for it, but it's there already. It looked like mountain. I think it cuts like mountain. Is that right, Derek? Architectural treatment for the Burbank abutment?
Yes, we do have architecture treatments, but we don't have any architecture treatments in the soffit. And to answer the question earlier about technology, Caltrain have a structure material that has been constantly developing new concrete mix and technology with it. In the new 2018, we have many new sections, including self-consolidating concrete, mass concrete, and other concrete technology that can make the concrete work longer, have a longer life, and get it done in the pour at a lower temperature. So there's a lot of things that you don't see and you don't hear, but we have a group of engineers continuing every single day to make sure that the material to be incorporated in the project gets a better quality and lasts longer. And it is true that we continue to work. And so if you go to our other projects, you will see that we'll continue to find different architectural methods, facades, and to make the bridge look prettier. And it is part of the work that we do for the Burbank.
Thank you, Derek. And then especially about the technology part, I think I haven't been keeping track of these advancements, but rest assured we're using the most advanced technology there is for concrete. Go ahead, Mike.
John, from which point to which point will I-5 be repaved? That is to say, what are the areas? And then will it be smooth and drivable with smooth drivable seams where two concrete slabs meet?
I think from where we at north of Empire and south of Empire, some of the pavement are new. We did salvage some of the old pavement. So to answer your question, you're driving between Buena Vista to almost north of Empire, a mixture of new pavement and old pavement. As for smoothness, we do have a new requirement. However, the new requirement doesn't apply to rehab because when you have older pavement to join to, and then I think everybody noticed that, that's where you have problem. But again, continuously we use grinding and all kind of method trying to make the older pavement smoother. Concrete slab tend to curl after aging. So that means at the joints, it kind of rise up, and that's where you hit the bump. So our maintenance strategy has been grinding those bumps out. And however, when we do that, that kind of accelerate the joints deterioration because then the joints normally filled with dirt and all these particles get shaken, and then if the water seeping through after aging, then the pavement start deteriorating. But anyways, for all the new pavement we installed, we have dowels and then transversely and longitudinally to connect each slab together, hoping, and this is a new thing that came up around 10, 15 years ago that we're doing. We call it JPCP. That means we're connecting the slab together with dowel bar. And the old pavement that we did, there is no dowel bar. They just sit together side by side. The newer pavement that we install, as you can see, we got those epoxy coated rebar, tie bar, and then we connect them together like a mat, and they do last longer. And hopefully in the future, it will be less maintenance issues. So I don't know whether I answered your question or not, but you probably noticed we did 8 extended weekend south of Magnolia, and that's probably almost a mile that we did. And those 8 lanes of new pavement are brand new. So we do hope that will last for a long time, at least past 30, 40 years, because those are brand new. So those is what I can promise you that we already done. Whereas north of Magnolia into Empire, I cannot tell you because some portion are new, like the southbound that I show you, those will be brand new because you see we moved the freeway almost 100 feet to the west. So those pavement will be brand new. And as we move back to the east side, portion of it, or most of it will be new too. But then after you go north, we are using a mixture of older pavement and newer pavement. So I hope that answered your question, but rest assured, we got SB1 money and we're ready. When this contract is over, we're gonna take another look at it to repair whatever we need if there's any deterioration.
John, the next question is, what provisions is Caltrans making for future expansion?
One thing we all learned from this COVID, aside from the millennial, is climate change. We all learned that working at home can be as efficient, although we all cooped up like, everybody got cabin fever, can't wait to go out. But as you can see, it's a valid way of working, because I think the generation gap tells us that we should show up at work and work hard. That's what we grew up with. But when we accept the new generation, they've been telling us there's a climate change, there's this burning of fossil fuel is not sustainable. So we also heard that. So in Caltrans, we are adopting a lot of newer technology of measuring our performance. One thing for sure everybody knows is that for the past 30 years, Caltrans has been building couple lane, including this one, to encourage ride sharing. And that's part of our strategy to encourage a reduction of vehicle miles traveled and reduce congestion. However, what we learned from the past 40 years is no matter how many lanes you build, you cannot fight the trend of congestion. You always lose, because as you remember, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. I can tell you, I can give you 10 lanes each direction like Queen Elizabeth's Way in Toronto. After 2 years, it will be filled with cars. So what did we learn from this lesson during COVID is actually, we probably will look at various ways of improving traffic flow. Ride sharing has been our top number one, but then I'm almost certain that in the future, corporation company will be encouraged to encourage telework for the employees, because the lesser mile you drive on the freeway, more people can enjoy better freeway speed. And that's what we see. Unless you really need to go somewhere, there's no need that, I mean, we grew up with a generation that we should wake up in the morning, get up and go to work. But for the past 6 months, I think a majority of us learned that you wake up in the morning, you go to work from your bedroom to your study. And that's how you work. So I'm just saying, I think we learn a lot, even as Caltrans. We learn a lot from this pandemic. And then I think in March and April, we all saw that how environment improved for the 2 months of governor's shutdown. So we don't know what's coming, but what I can assure you is more telework will be encouraged with corporation, and we need to limit our resource of expansion of freeway. That's probably will be next, but we still gonna target the project and use the money at the right location. And I hope that answered your question, but Caltrans is moving into a new generation of thinking. We no longer measure congestion. We are starting to measure reducing of vehicle mile travel. That means whatever we do, we're gonna heading towards that way. So if that answers your question.
John, thank you. The next question is, when will the median drainage system north of Empire be completed, and will you open the northbound carpool lane at that time?
I think the median barrier is being constructed, and some was offset. And when you see the pavement offset between northbound and southbound, that's when handwork is needed. Originally, contractors said they'll finish in November, but right now, I think we could finish by then. But whether we're gonna restripe it and all that, depending on all the work adjoining Burbank, and if everything is really ready, we will schedule a day and restripe and then extend the couple lane. But as you know, the problem with opening couple lanes south of Buena Vista is it's a short distance, about 2 miles, and most likely it's a drop lane. So as you know, this project ends at Buena Vista, but I dropped the couple lane at Hollywood Way because you need a drop distance for people to merge in. So if I extend that, then hopefully everybody can couple to Buena Vista, but then we start dropping. So if that answers your question. Of course, if we finish it and then the stripers are ready, we will go out there and stripe it.
John, the next question is, during the I-5 construction project segments, the lane division line markings have changed from one style of lane marking to another. Is this a trial run for different kinds of line markings? Will the whole project become one standard kind of marking? Excuse me, I've lost my place. Will the whole project become one standard kind of marking throughout the extent of the complete I-5 project?
About 2 years ago, Caltrans adopted 2 to 3 years ago for automation, vehicle automation, we adopted wider lane stripe. That means from 4 inches to 6 inches. In addition to that, the department adopted the so-called Oreo striping. Oreo striping becomes our new standard. That means in addition to the 6-inch white stripe, we have either 1.5 inches or 2 inches on either side of the white stripe to make it show better between the lanes. So what I can tell you is south of Magnolia, or I should say Alameda, you already saw that. We already start putting those. So for this project, when it's completed, that's what you're gonna see. Is you're gonna see a 6 inches wide of white stripe bordered with 2 black stripe on either side, on both sides. So that's the new standard we're going to be putting in. So I hope that answers your question. And yes, if you drive throughout the California, you'll see all kinds. But again, this is a new standard just came out, and we believe it fits metropolitan area better. And this is what we're doing from now on.
And John, the person also would like to know whether the standardized lane markings that you've described will be ones that work with all vehicle drive assist systems that recognize lane markings.
I think, like I said, that was the goal, is to assist that, but we also know the maintaining of that is very important. So we continuously I think we have a program to monitor the reflectivity of the stripes after certain years, and then that's ongoing. So yes, there was a huge program pushing it with SB1 funding, and I think it will continue. We're gonna continuously look at our stripe, and then for the future, because future is vehicle automation, and then that's basically what we hope one day we can reach. So you can sit in the traffic but working. So
John, the next question is whether the Burbank Boulevard Bridge will be able to handle the amount of traffic due to the high concentration of population influx due to the housing boom at the old IKEA along the Front Street and hotels and retail, and will the Magnolia or Olive Avenue bridges over the freeway be able to handle the excess traffic?
I don't know the answer for that, and I think when we plan this with the city, we look at the streets adjoining this section. So we believe this is the ultimate configuration it's going to look like. It is wide, and of course, if you have traffic volume growth, I mean, it remains to be a problem. I think your 5 point is your concern at the Costco area, where you know, a different direction of traffic mingle with the 4 legs. But for Burbank Boulevard, I think this is the ultimate prime location, because you can have a 12 lane or 20 lane or bridge, but then the adjoining section is a concern. And then there's also development. What I can tell you is we already put bridge surface wherever we can and maximize at the location. There is not going to be any wider than this. And again, going back to our original concept, ride sharing, and also the new concept of working locally, hopefully this will resolve a lot of traffic congestion in the future. A smart growth, so to speak.
John, the next question is, how long did it take for the planning stage, including environmental impact studies?
I know a person named Sakwa. He's been with Caltrans probably more than 40 years. What I know is he's been working on this project more than 20 years, and that's how long it's gonna take. I mean, when we start the PID, we call it Project Initiation Document. Normally, it gets sit on the shelf because it needs a sponsor, it needs the right funding, and I think for this project, it did happen that long. I remember I'm here in Caltrans for 30 years. I think I started seeing this EA, this project identification number 20 plus years ago. So it's a long time. To develop a project is a long timeline. So I can't tell you exactly when, but I can tell you it's late 1990s or early 2000 when we start planning this.
The next question is a request for landscaping at Rogers Place, and the person says the landscaping was promised to be done in January 2020.
Well, if September 2019, when we opened it, everything went smooth. There was no accident. Yeah, city priority went in there. You already see the landscape by January of 2020. That's for sure. I can tell you that. But when the first two accidents happened there, when everybody raised concern, that's when things stopped. City can still plant it there, but then they don't think that's the ultimate location. That's not how it's gonna look like, and we agree. So I know as a concerned citizen, you're frustrated with the process, but I'm sorry to say that procedure-wise, this probably should have been decided in early 2000 of how this place is gonna look like. I wish City Council has decided this will be part of our freeway and put in freeway agreement, and it's part of the project. And then right now we're home free. It didn't happen that way. And be honest with you, I'm not laying blame on anybody. And I think you want to blame somebody for sure, but then again, just like I said, planning for a mega project like this take decades, and this feature was not included in there. In 2014, when I at the community meeting on site with Roger Keeler's neighborhood, I think people probably remember me. Half of the people talking to me wants to continue to have access to the street, then on-ramp. Half of the people told me they don't want it. But then we all know this is democracy, but then we don't get a vote on this. This is an environmental issue. This is a neighborhood issue. And in the end, this is a city decided issue. And I can see the difficulty that a decision city has to make, even as late as 2014. But here we are in 2020. And I think when we built Empire Avenue, we decided we're gonna go along with what city suggested. And unfortunately, the probability wasn't on our side. That means I never seen anything happen in a week when we first opened it. 2 accidents in a week, the first week, and that kind of changed everybody's, kind of concept. It's like, whoa, this may not work. And this not supposed to be a trial and error process, I guarantee you. But what is the loophole here? Because in the plan that my contractor received did not include a fence on top of a curb to divide the neighborhood and the freeway. It didn't include that. So right now, I totally agree with everybody, but we need to take a closer look, because first concern is, of course, safety, then how things look. And I think we took care of safety right now. How things look is we continuously gonna work with the city with. So I hope that answers your question. I'm honestly telling you what's going on. I share your frustration. If it's in my neighborhood, I want to know why and why can it go faster. But again, this is a complicated community and also project development issue. So I hope you can understand.
John, the next question relates to any pavement on southbound I-5 between Burbank Boulevard on-ramp and the Verdugo Boulevard off-ramp that was not replaced during the recent 8 weekend full closures. Will that pavement be replaced?
I think in the plan, we see certain portion will be replaced, but not all. That's what I can tell you, because I think most of the adjoining payment are being used on a daily basis, and it wasn't in the concrete, in the project scope. And as you know, with this contractor, they've been on site since 2014. And the only way for us to move on is really finishing all their work and cut them loose, because for a $200 million project, a delay cost is very high. So we got to move on, finishing all we have. For all the other comments you may have, if it meets certain criteria of deterioration, it will get replaced, but then may not be from this project. But again, we are Caltrans. We're here to help you with all the issues.
John, the next question is, will rubber-infused pavement be considered to quiet traffic noise on any part of the alignment?
Rubberized asphalt being used on certain ramps and city streets in Caltrans projects already, and but then that's only asphalt. For the concrete, the answer is no. The concrete is noisier, but concrete lasts longer. For any asphalt surfaces, we normally need to replace this 10 to 15 years, regardless how the base looks like and all that. So to answer your question, yes, it's been employed a lot of places with rubberized asphalt on the top layer, probably 2 inches. However, for the concrete pavement, the answer is no. There is no rubber in there. Some with plastic and all that, but that doesn't solve the noise problem. So.
John, that is the last question. There are a couple of people who have asked to be followed up with, or it's clear from their follow-up comments that they would like Caltrans to follow up with them. And I want to assure those people to contact me, please, or go to the website, my5la.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, use the Contact Us feature and contact me that way. I will be in touch with you, and I will put you in touch with the project development team so they can address your questions and we can follow up appropriately. But I think that is the end. Wait a minute, one more. Graffiti. Is the graffiti going to be removed?
Very, very popular question. The answer is, if it's on the project site, definitely. And we welcome you to send in the location. We are on graffiti lookout, and then if we see them, we will schedule for removal. But however, you remember our contractor is not really staffed to have graffiti patrol, because that would be too expensive. So when they get our notices, they will go out there and clean it. And then if it's taking too long, like they have staff shortages, and then it's an area that's accessible to our maintenance, we will schedule that as well. So that's our commitment for the appearance for the project.
And one person wants to congratulate the project team for a job well done. It's not really a question. So thank you for your comments of praise about a job well done, and we appreciate that. But John, it looks like that will be the end of the questions for tonight.
Okay, I'd like to thank everybody's participation. Unfortunately, I did say I'd like to hear from you, but it seems like it came from a verbal way through Mike, your avatar here. But really thank everybody's support. Next year, I don't even know. My hope is we don't have an outreach meeting next year because everything's open. We already ribbon cut. That's my hope. But again, if I don't see you next year, I really like to thank everybody's support over the years. Like I said, City of Burbank, I work South and North corridors. City of Burbank remains to be the most engaging, active, and knowledgeable citizen in Southern California. That I say it from the bottom of my heart. And I do thank everybody's comments, and especially the person thanking us. I think we don't get thanked a lot, especially my dedicated crew. But we're doing our job. We're doing our best. We know we're the steward for the California Department, California's transportation system, and we'll continue to do our job. And thank you for your participation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We appreciate your interest and your questions. As always, my5la.com is the project website with information. You can go there to sign up for the free weekly email updates if you don't already receive them. And you can also contact us with any questions or concerns you have through the website Contact Us feature. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Thank you.